Hi everybody, this is Ryan from Android in Canada, and here's my review of the Samsung Galaxy S3. Now, I'm going to cover a lot more in depth in the blog article, so go and read that. I'll put a link on the YouTube video. So this will just be sort of a hands-on option. So let's take a look at it. We know it's a 4.8-inch screen. It's got our power button and volume switches. We've got our standard sort of, home button that's on there nowadays. The back is really nice in terms of that you can take it off pretty easily and not to worry about breaking it. The SD card's under there. The bigger battery, it's a 2100 milliamp battery in there. I'm just missing that Galaxy that used to be on there. And it was kind of nice to have that Galaxy Note sort of vanity plate for your phone. The screen is a Gorilla Glass 2, but the model that they sent me, it already had a little bit of a scuff or something on it. I just can't see, so that kind of scares me. But it is Gorilla Glass 2. It should be nearly impenetrable, but I would still protect it if you could. The other thing it comes with is a Super AMOLED display, which is really nice. I mean, you can really notice a pentile display now on a Galaxy Nexus compared to it. So really vivid colors, really good looks. Compare it to a Galaxy Nexus. There is very little in size difference that I can see. I mean, it's going to be a little bit larger in the screen. Just let's compare it to you here. And unlock that screen. So, not that much difference in this. Whoops, much difference on the screen there. So, but 4.8 versus 4.65. So that's the external of the phone. The internal of the phone, it's running Ice Cream Sandwich 4.0.4, but it's still running TouchWiz, and it's TouchWiz 5.0, which has some new features, but I'll get to that. But it still has a very gingerbready look to it. We talk about the elegance of what Holo does for Ice Cream Sandwich and Jelly Bean. It's kind of missing on the TouchWiz, so it's a powerhouse, but it just doesn't have that sort of finesse to it like we would expect. So otherwise, the powerhouse side of it, it is absolutely a phenom in terms of being able to no lag. Oops. This is something I'm not a big fan of, is how it cyclically cycles. You can get kind of lost pretty easily. And the same thing with the widget apps. You cycle through all the apps, but it doesn't automatically go to the widgets. I have to go and bring the widgets up. Okay, so that's what's inside of it. We know it's a dual core model. This is the i747 from Bell. Tom talked about his, and his is the international quad core. So this is the dual core, and you'll see from the benchmarks I gave, it's really good. It's not, you can really pile it on. You can see when I put in the task switcher here, I've got a lot of things actually running in the background, and it's still chunking away no problem. So that's one thing I didn't like about this. I have to really hold that down to bring that up. I'm used to hitting it pop up automatically, so that's just something I have to get used to. One of the big things everybody tends to ask about is the battery. The battery in this thing, it's a bigger battery. It's 2100 milliamp hour versus an 1850 in the Galaxy Nexus. Out of standard fare sort of practices, this will edge out for sure. And I post some pictures in the blog of showing some usage. It did react much better. Whereas if you really piled it on, and right now I'm actually downloading, it's tend to slowing down a little bit because I'm uploading in a bunch of stuff. Really piled on with some heavy apps, it really is noticeably lagging, versus on Jelly Bean it lags, but when you compare the battery usage out of it, this really drained, versus the Nexus didn't drain as much. So heavy usage, I tend to see the Nexus faring out a little better, but standard usage, the S3 is really winning it. The other thing I noticed, it does take a little bit longer to charge because it is a bigger battery, especially if you're using it from a computer. It does take longer to sort of charge its full self up. The other feature for me, one of the bigger ones, is the camera. It's an 8 megapixel So a great sort of resolution, and I think the lens and the color reproduction is a little better on this compared to the Nexus. So it's got a bunch of neat features. One of my favorites, of course, is HDR. Being able to take that HDR shot and it processes it really quickly. So for me, that's pretty cool. It's got that burst mode. What you can do is either say just take 20 shots in a row, or put it on best mode and just take 8 shots in a row and just keep your best one. So a lot of neat features you can do with the camera. The panoramic is in there as well. I have some samples of that stuff there. But again, there's the UI of TouchWiz. It's just very blocky feel. And one thing I found is that I tend to play around with a lot of these features a lot, so I'm always having to go back through the menu settings to try to find it. And you're only limited to 4 options up here. So if I want to change those, from what I would like to use, I'd like to actually have 5. And I don't get that option. But the camera's awesome. It's a 2 megapixel in front, a little better than a standard 1.3. So camera's going to be phenomenal. You're going to like it for the camera alone. Yeah, so that's pretty much the phone. Some of the neat features you're going to know that come with the S3, or that stay awake feature that allows you to, watch the screen, and it knows that as if you're on the screen, you're watching it, then it stays on. When you go through the gallery and take pictures, it automatically recognizes your friends and starts suggesting tags. You have some other sort of gesture features. Tap the top and it'll jump to the top of your email list or contact list. Hold 2 buttons down and bend, twist it, and it'll send things all the way. Features like that. The other one is S-Beam. S-Beam with the NFC works only if you have exactly another S3. So cool features that TouchWiz brings in, but a lot of them are pretty well novel features, and not something I would seek out. I mean, they're nice to have, I guess, to play around with, but they're pretty well just novelty. Nothing I would use on a day-to-day, everything-day basis. But a powerhouse of a phone. If you really want a longer-lasting battery, this is the phone. You want to handle a lot of apps, not to worry about switching and killing and dismissing, this is the phone. You're going to pay for it. It's $160 on contract versus, I think, what this is, $30 on contract. So you take your pluses and minuses, but this is, I think, the phone a lot of people, and I know Tom is saying, this is the phone I'm going to get. This is the phone he's keeping it his. So that's my review. I'll have more on the blog. That's a lot of more details. And if you have any questions, you know where to find me, guys. Google Plus, where it's at. Thanks for watching. Bye.